but he's already in the top 3, and he might get even more. Let's see if it can pull off another upset, or Ilqm is going to try to fight for his own first title.
And I don't know if this is correct, but I see a previous matchup of Dr. Roastbeef actually defeating Sceptile Ice in the World Championships last season. So if he's able to make it to these winners finals, to the grand finals, he might have a shot to beat Sceptile Ice once again. And we're locked in to the first game. This is a best-of-5 series. We have the Shadow Drapion versus the Alolan Sandslash, probably one of the best answers in the meta to this Shadow Drapion.
And this is exactly what Dr. Roastbeef wants, because his backline Pokemon both are weak to that Shadow Drapion. Probably going to let this first crunch go, because a lot of times you get debuffed and then you start being in Aqua Tail range, so you want to let that first one go in case you get debuffed. But doesn't get debuffed, is now going to throw this Drill Run to soften up this Azumarill.
Yeah, and the swap into the Azumarill, because there is no hard answer besides the Jump Bluff on Dr. Roastbeef's team, and you can get to these Ice Beams versus the Jump Bluff, so it's not a terrible situation. Actually just trying to go for proper timing here. Looks like the Energy Ball might have been available, but Dr. Roastbeef decides not to throw it, because even if you land that Energy Ball, it's not going to be enough to knock out the bulk of the Azumarill. Now we're going to throw the Energy Ball. I think you'll get the back-to-back Energy Ball before the next Ice Beam is available from Ilqm.
And Energy Ball is going to land on this Azumarill. No debuff is going to happen, but it is closing in on Aerial Ace range. I don't think it's quite enough. So Dr. Roastbeef going to go for the safer play and go for the Energy Ball. I love this play, right? Because Ilqm's thinking, if you get greedy and go for the Aerial Ace, I can land the Ice Beam. Not going to happen, though. Is going to get the Energy Ball. But now this farm down is going to be super scary.
Instantly comes in because he doesn't want to wait for the timer to go down. He wants to have this Jump Bluff stuck in this matchup. Gonna throw the Aerial Ace just to get back to your timer, even though this is the worst attack. He just wants to get out of this matchup. Swaps into the Shadow Sableye, met by the Shadow Drapion. You are at a Protect Shield disadvantage. Looks like he's going to try to reach for the Power Band, Jim, but instead goes for the Foul Play, which is the bait in this scenario. This is resisted by Shadow Drapion, and Ilqm Protect Shields it anyway.
I think it's the right call for Ilqm, right? It is so risky to let that Power Gem go, because then your main counter to the Shadow Sableye is just gone in an instant. Dr. Roastbeef only has 1 shield left. Does he decide to save the shield or not? I think he has to let this go, because if he goes down shields, his Alolan Sandslash just straight up loses the mirror matchup. And here, Ilqm throws another Aqua Tail to prevent even the chip damage from the Foul Play. Dr. Roastbeef has to let this go.
Yeah, and he could have decided to try to throw on Charge Attack prior to there, but was going for the Shadow Claw instead, and now it's going to be the Shadow Drapion versus this Alolan Sandslash, but you have your own Alolan Sandslash in the back to match up versus that Jump Bluff. Looks like Ilqm is in a great situation to, actually getting a Protect Shield on this Aqua Tail, knowing that your backline matchup is so bad, and swapping on the Drill Run.
He catches it too. What a huge catch. I mean, this is still a tough matchup for Dr. Roastbeef, because he gets farmed down completely from the Powder Snow.
Triple resisted, that did nothing. That did less than a Powder Snow.
Yeah, the Powder Snow's doing plenty more here, but the problem is Ilqm is still in a commanding position. It's one of the situations where, again, it's a great catch, but he's so far ahead that he just needs to get this Powder Snow down, has the Drill Run ready for the Alolan Sandslash, wins from there.
Yeah, it's a nice play, but there's just not enough you can do, and that looks like there was a debuff there from the Energy Ball, but there is double Drill Run banked for Ilqm. There is no Protect Shield remaining for Dr. Roastbeef, and a pretty comfortable 1-0 lead for Ilqm in this matchup.
Don't count Dr. Roastbeef out yet. This is the best of 5, which means Ilqm has to win 2 more to get a rematch against Sceptile Ice. Great plays, though, from Dr. Roastbeef, but better plays from Ilqm.
Yeah.
Hey, my favorite segment here. We got a little trivia for you, Two Butters.
Okay.
Dr. Roastbeef, you said it, right? He actually beat Sceptile Ice at Worlds 2-0. Dr. Roastbeef and Ilqm actually faced off in Los Angeles, the last time they faced off. What do you think the result was in that? It was a best of 3.
You know, I'm going to go with, I think Ilqm won that matchup, because I think Dr. Roastbeef was 9th place in that tournament. So I think Ilqm probably got the best of him in Los Angeles.
You are correct. He was 9th place, and Ilqm had a higher finishing place. But actually, on day number 1, Dr. Roastbeef 2-0'd Ilqm, and that's how he ended up on day 2 on winner's side, and Ilqm started out on the loser side.
Oh, wow.
So this is actually a rematch, and, you know, Dr. Roastbeef has been upsetting people already off stream from previous regionals, but he is now on the big stage at the furthest he's ever been in this losers finals, and he needs to dig deep to try to find another upset against Ilqm.
A lot on the line for these two trainers. Like you mentioned, the underdog, the 9th seed in this tournament, had to take down so many big names, had to take out Doombug, Valor Ash, just countless trainers, has already defeated Ilqm in the past, has even defeated Sceptile Ice. Could this be the day for the underdog? And on the other side, Ilqm, one of the most consistent trainers in North America, consistently getting top 4 or top cut appearances. He was on the winner's side of the bracket, and now he has an opportunity to get back to that grand finals because he has never been a regional champion. Something that he's been going for multiple tournaments, something that he said would mean the world to him. So much on the line for both of these trainers trying to make it up into the grand finals to face Sceptile Ice. Ilqm with the 1-0 advantage. We got a game number 2.
All right, here we go. It's going to be the Galarian Corsola versus the Clotsire. This is a Sludge Bomb Clotsire as well, so it's an even worse matchup for doctorroastbeef. Let's see how he plays this out, because his backline Pokemon are decent into the Galarian Corsola. Maybe he's going to farm up extra energy before swapping out. Kind of an interesting timing there, too. Let's Astonish, too.
Yeah, I think he threw on the alignment there with the Astonish, so it didn't chunk that Clodsire too much because of the bulk of the Clodsire, but giving too much extra energy to the Corsola. It looks like Corsola is over 100 energy as he throws his first Nightshade. I don't think double Nightshade is going to be enough to knock out the Clodsire. It looks like Clodsire could actually win the zeros here.
Yeah, Clodsire actually has some win cons. It's a little bit more comfortable, I think, with the Stone Edge in that one shield situation, but if he lands this Earthquake, it's actually not too bad. He is going to land it. I don't think it's enough to KO. Does he go for a catch here? Maybe on the Bibro, but no. Actually is going to Ilqm's going to just throw the Nightshade. Not going for the optimization, just wants to get this guaranteed damage through. And doctorroastbeef going to throw up a shield.
And the thing is, you have 2 answers in the backline for that Azumarill. You had a really good opportunity, and now the swap in, the Shadow Drapion, cutting off all this energy. This is actually brutal for doctorroastbeef, because how is he going to be able to take out this 2-shield Drapion that has a little bit extra energy here? You have to bring in the Bibro, but at least you're going to have the Jump Up versus the Azumarill. But we know Azumarill is kind of fine against Jump Up because of the double super effective Ice Beam.
Yeah, it looks like 2 kind of back-to-back miscalculations from doctorroastbeef. Letting the Astonish shoot, and then also not even getting all that energy off on that Clodsire, making his shield kind of not as useful as you would predict. Let's see if he could come back from this rough start in this game. Crunch is going to connect, and you know, you can't really spend your second shield already when you're already down a shield. Going to throw up this first Surf. Ilqm can just double shield and get so much value out of this Shadow Drapion.
Yeah, and will he go for that farm down with Poison Sting and go for that? No, actually just going for the Aqua Tail. But at this range, it's probably going to knock out. That is the trouble with letting one crunch through on the Bibro. So now he's forced to actually Protect Shield on an Aqua Tail, which is devastating. At least now you're going to get the Surf off, waiting a turn to make sure there was no swap. You get the last Protect Shield of the game from Ilqm, but I don't know how you're going to take out this Drapion, because now you're going to swap the Jump Up. You're just going to be a sitting duck. You're going to take so much damage here.
Not only that, but you land 1 crunch, you're in Ice Beam range, and you need 2 Energy Balls to take out this Azumarill. I wouldn't be surprised if Ilqm just straight up swaps to Azumarill after this to get to Ice Beam. That's exactly what he does, because he doesn't want to get outpaced here by the Energy Ball on this Jump Bluff. And you can see he's 2 bubbles away from this Ice Beam to secure the knockout. doctorroastbeef is locked in this matchup too. He can even catch the energy even if he wants to. Let's not forget there's a half-health Drapion in the back.
And he is too far away from the Energy Ball, so instead throwing the Aerial Ace on charge attack priority into the Azumarill here. I don't think this is going to get it nearly low enough to roll out down. You wanted to try to get to an Energy Ball, but you just couldn't get there in time. Now this Ice Beam is going to be double super effective to take out the Jump Up from doctorroastbeef, and it's all up to Bibro, but it's going to have to take out 3 Pokemon here.
Yeah, you can see doctorroastbeef even saying over the mic too, he said GG's to Ilqm the moment that he threw that Aerial Ace. He knew that it was unfortunate just over. There's just not enough left in the tank for this Bibro. A huge 2-0 lead for Ilqm. He is looking like he's trying to storm back into that Grand Bounds, get the rematch for Sceptile Ice, and try to get his own first championship title. Now, I know doctorroastbeef has been facing tough opponents after tough opponents, but he is not only facing Ilqm, one of the best players in the world, he is also down 0-2. To reverse sweep in a best-of-5 is not something you see every day. Very few players even have that on that resume of theirs. And doctorroastbeef hasn't even been in a best-of-5 until now, and this would be an incredible comeback if he could somehow pull this off. But let's start with the first game. He's got to win this next one just to at least slow down the momentum and still stay in this.
Exactly right. He still has a chance in this series. He's able to take out so many top trainers. Can he pull off a miracle here? But sometimes you run into a wall. If you keep facing top trainer after top trainer, you can't have 100% win rate versus all of them. And Ilqm is hungry for that regional victory. He wants his chance to get back to the grand finals and a shot at a rematch to win the whole thing here in Toronto. But doctorroastbeef is going to have to pull off a miracle here to reverse sweep it. But he's been pulling off miracles all afternoon on Championship Sunday.
That's right. Really calculated plays from Ilqm all the way throughout in this entire series, really. You know, we see a couple mistakes here or there from doctorroastbeef that Ilqm just able to capitalize on no matter what. Even when doctorroastbeef kind of gets a lineup he wants, Ilqm just able to put him in a tough position and force the mistakes, right, from doctorroastbeef. I think against less experienced players, it's easy to make the good plays, right? But against very experienced players, that's when you have to really dig deep and figure out what are the win cons, because they're not going to give you a lot.
Well, I think it's great for doctorroastbeef that he's facing this adversity here after he's taken so many match wins versus the likes of Dunebug, Inadequence, some of the top trainers on the planet. You spoke to him earlier, and on the interview, he said he was nervous, and maybe he has settled in a bit. He is in an 0-2 hole. He has an opportunity here, but will it be Ilqm making his way back to the grand finals? We got a double poison lead here. We have the Clodsire into the Shadow Drapion.
And that Superior in the back looks scary for doctorroastbeef. Let's see if he's able to predict it, draw it out, maybe swap around, see what he does here. Do we have the double Aqua Tail already loaded for Ilqm? He's going to get these bolts off before that Earthquake is thrown from doctorroastbeef. He might even go for the bait. We see that a lot because a lot of players don't opt to shield that first potential Sludge Bomb. You see Ilqm going to throw up the shield right away. He gets a lot of value here, even if it's a Sludge Bomb bait. But for his sake, it's even better because it's actually the full Earthquake.
Well, here's the problem. Shadow Drapion has been giving doctorroastbeef a lot of trouble. Even though his team is pretty strong against it, he brought a double ground team to face this here. But the huge adjustment from Ilqm to have the Superior in the back. Superior looks amazing versus, and then swapping into the Earthquake onto the Azumarill here. Maybe this is going to bait out the Bibarel, which means the Quagsire is going to be facing that Superior in the back, and that's going to be devastating for the Quagsire.
doctorroastbeef does have a shield advantage, but let's not forget, there's a lot of energy still on that Drapion, and I mean, it doesn't matter if you're down a shield for Superior, you're still in a pretty good spot into that Quagsire. Just the double super effective Vine Whips really add up here. And let's see if doctorroastbeef is going to spend a shield here or not, tier 2. It's going to do a lot of damage, so I think a lot of people do opt to protect the Bibarel here. He's actually going to let it go.
Yeah, the problem is you're getting closer and closer to Aqua Tail range, and then Ilqm is just full of energy on the Shadow Drapion, so you can just start unleashing those Aqua Tails into the Bibarel. Actually going for the resisted Surf here. I don't think this is going to be enough to knock out, so that means you're going to have to roll out down. Oh, it actually does knock out the attack from Bibarel, and now the Superior is revealed here. doctorroastbeef knows it's going to be really tough to finish off the Superior. Instant no shield and the Hyper Fang, but this is going to do a big chunk of damage.
That's actually really good for doctorroastbeef. He needs all the chip damage he can get. If he could put this even potentially in Aqua Tail range, that wouldn't be too bad. There's no way he can shield this Clodsire, though, so I think he's going to just let this go.
Wait a second, though. This will probably... Actually, no, he needs to shield this because he needs to bait out the Drapion.
But the combo play.
But he needs to bait out the Drapion. That's fine. Because once you bait out the Drapion, then you can get some energy onto the Quagsire. That's your only win condition. You can't shield. I don't know if you can shield this, though, because now
that's tough.
There's pretty much a back-to-back available, but you have the Earthquake at least to get the last Protect Shield of the battle.
This is okay too, though, in my opinion, because if he could, now he just needs to build up the Stone Edge, take out the Drapion, and he can win this game. However, Ilqm, one of the best trainers in the world, he's not going to let doctorroastbeef get away with this so easily. He's going to farm up so much energy. This is going to be a hard matchup even for the Quagsire to overcome.
Yeah, the problem is the double crunch is going to be enough. So do you have to swap on the Bibarel to try to absorb that energy? The double crunch isn't quite available yet. And the problem, you can also get back to your timer if you're Ilqm. So this is so tough. Ilqm is on the edge of making it back into the grand finals. There is one crunch. The timer is up, swapping into the Superior, and there is a Frenzy Plant loaded, banked, and unleashed into doctorroastbeef's Quagsires.
He is only seconds away, a few Vine Whips away from sweeping this loser's finals. doctorroastbeef had an incredible run here in Toronto, but it is going to come to an end with Ilqm, the quick 3-0, and he gets his rematch in the grand finals.
Making quick work of Dr. Roast Beef here. Ilqm is gonna have his rematch versus Sceptile Ice. Congratulations, though, to Dr. Roast Beef.